Hey friends, I had a beautiful experience this evening because my daughter had her first, not her first ever, but her first sort of proper dance recital with a small class that she's been in. It's only 3 people, but it was really great, and it was of course on a program with 29 other pieces or something like that. Really fun, and the there's something about any recital or performance by young people that is that it never fails to inspire me and to kind of it just lifts spirits, I think. But dance in particular, dance is so exposing in a way. You can't hide behind much when it's your physical body in space moving. You have to be vulnerable. As musicians, we can hide behind our instrument. As actors, you can hide behind your character and what you're doing. The dance, you can hide in dance. You can try, but it doesn't. There's not a lot to hide behind. And so the result is these performances are just like looking through a human being. They're like getting an impression of their depths. It's really fun to watch, and I think partly because of that, I suppose it was a thought, but it was more than a thought. It was an insight or a realization come through. And it had to do with it surprised me a little bit because it was such a big topic. It was such a big, here I am sitting in this student dance recital, watching piece after piece, and something about the beauty of it, something about the willingness to extend themselves of the performers sent me a flash of it sent me a vision about the world and where we are, because when I look around the world, both in our country and other places around the world, the picture is scary sometimes. And it's hard to know what to do. If you think about just the geopolitical moment we're in, it's a heavy moment. It's a heavy moment, and it's a moment in which, bringing up a child feels even more, it's like something about that exposes our human vulnerability. Certainly to me, it exposes my own human vulnerability. Because I think having a child just creates that feeling of vulnerability, or it at least it creates an access to it in a way that I certainly never had before I had a child. So that's kind of a heavy place to be. But what flashed for me was something that I imagined some of the great teachers, some of the great individuals in the world, some of whom I've met and some of whom I've never met. I've just either read their work or seen them on TV or in film or on YouTube. And I thought about what they contribute and what they're doing. Like what a great spiritual teacher is doing in a time like now. And how they don't lose hope or make the assumption that what they're offering, this profound, powerful, transformative wisdom and energy, how they don't just make the assumption that that's not what's needed, that nobody wants that right now by looking at the world. You could easily get that impression, but they don't make that assumption. They don't draw that conclusion from their experience. And I think that comes from an understanding that we're here to give our energy in service of what we feel most deeply is good. We give ourselves to the world, and we can only give ourselves to the world as we are. We can only give what we have to the world as it is. And there are many, many people who would say a time like this is an incredibly spiritually rich time, because the challenges and the friction and the energy that's pulsing in the earth and in culture and in the nature is vast. And the reason things look precarious is because there's so much energy coursing through the system that it is creating some chaos. And all we can do is bring ourselves to the world, be in that energy, and then give our gift with generosity and vulnerability and hopefully a sense of trying to help. And that is the biggest difference we can make. If we're doing that, knowing how it's going to work out, or even knowing how our influence is going to contribute, maybe knowledge that we don't get to have, that may not be something that's available to us to know or have security about as we give our gift. We kind of just have to give it. And if we do, my conviction is that if enough people do that, then our world will survive. Then we will find a way to channel this energy and find a way to hold together throughout this incredible influx of energy and this kind of the chaos that may be part of it. But if enough people are coming from that place, then we might make it. And that's all we can do, is contribute in that way. So I told you it was kind of a heavy thing to get from a student dance performance, but something about the transparency of the performers and this like almost like by default open-heartedness, I think that may be what sparked this set of thoughts, or this realization into my awareness. But it stuck with me. I've been kind of, it's been present for me ever since. It hasn't. It's something that gives me hope. It gives me a kind of affirmation of the simple choice to show up and be as I am, to accept the world as it is. Doesn't mean we don't try to change things about it, but it means we don't turn away from it or reject it or lose hope because things seem overwhelming and we have no idea where to start. We just show up and give ourselves as we are. Let ourselves be seen, like a student dancer on a stage. So that's where I am today, folks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.